I've got a PhD, not in psychology, but you don't need to be a psychologist to recognize a pattern when it's staring you dead in the face. I've watched this dynamic for years. Quiet rooms, loud parties, relationships that look picture perfect on the outside but reek of dissonance underneath. And this one is always the same. Non-white people who date white partners while openly holding racist views about white people. Not subtle views, not complex critiques. I'm talking about blunt, sweeping generalizations, and everyone in the room just lets it slide. The ugly, out loud. I've heard it so many times. I could write the script myself. I don't trust white people. White people are dangerous. White people will always turn on you. White men are weak. White women can't be trusted. And then that same person goes home to their white partner, lays their head on their chest, calls them baby. You can dress that up however you want. Call it complexity, call it lived experience. But what it really is covert racism wrapped in soft sheets. And the wildest part, nobody calls it out. Nobody flinches. It's become normalized. Like we've all agreed this particular flavor of hypocrisy is somehow noble. The asymmetry. Let's be real, this is not a balanced equation. Because I've never, not once, seen the reverse. I've never seen a white person say black people are dangerous or brown people can't be trusted while dating a black or brown partner. If a white person did that, the world would treat it as what it is, racism. And they'd be dragged into the social abyss, rightfully so. But when non-white people say it about white people, even in the presence of their white partner, it gets brushed off, rationalized, excused, romanticized as trauma. That's not complexity. That's a double standard that reeks. The performance. This is where it gets even nastier, because a lot of these same people don't just say this stuff privately. They build a whole identity around it. Loud pro-black rhetoric, militant posturing, black nationalist branding. They post online about protecting the race, about not trusting outsiders. They talk about black love like it's a religion. But then the soft launch comes, a white partner, a whole different reality behind closed doors. That's not revolution. That's theatre. They don't love their people. They love the aesthetic of loving their people. The pedestal. Meanwhile, let's talk about the white partners in this mess, because most of them are not plotting. They're not masterminds. They're starry-eyed, genuinely grateful. How did I get so lucky? They don't push back when their race is being shitted on because they want to stay in their partner's good graces. They see their partner as something rare, something elevated. That's pedestal love. It feels romantic, but it isn't. It's still an imbalance, just a soft, sugary one. They think they're in a relationship, but really they're a prop in someone else's racial theatre. The cultural drift. Now let's get into what most people won't say out loud. I've seen this over and over again. While dating their white partner, many of these same people quietly desire, or outright cheat with, someone of their own race, because the white partner isn't home. They're a convenience, a stage, a buffer. The emotional gravity often still points back to someone who looks like them, sounds like them, feels familiar. It's not even subtle. It's a pattern. And the pedestal partner is usually too dazed to see it. The root rot. Here's what sits underneath all of it. This isn't just about preference. This is about unresolved fractures. A lot of people who perform anti-white rhetoric while dating white partners are dealing with deep self-hate. They're intimidated by their own communities. They're exhausted by their own people. They're seeking proximity to whiteness for safety, status, comfort, validation. But because they can't admit that to themselves without shattering their own identity, they lash out at the very thing they desire. They build walls with their mouths and break them down with their bedsheets. The coward's racism. This is the most cowardly form of racism, the kind that hides behind it's complicated, the kind that says, I hate you with words and I need you with touch, the kind that wears ideology like armor to protect the insecurity underneath. If someone truly believed their racial hatred, they wouldn't date their target. They wouldn't whisper slurs 1 minute and ask, do you want to get lunch? The next. This isn't radicalism, it's moral rot with good Wi-Fi, fetishizing what you claim to despise. What's particularly grotesque is how comfortable people have become holding both positions. They fetishize whiteness while calling it evil. They date white people while cosplaying as revolutionaries. They think they're above scrutiny because their hatred is pointed up the ladder. But racism doesn't turn noble because you aimed it north. If you speak about white people the way a racist speaks about black or brown people, then you're not a radical, you're just a racist with trendier language, power by proxy. Some people do this because pedestal partners are easier to control. White partners who are terrified of saying the wrong thing will never challenge them. They'll nod, they'll shrink, they'll let the venom slide. It creates this artificial power imbalance. One partner stands tall with moral superiority. The other quietly submits out of fear of being labelled the bad guy. That's not a relationship. That's a hostage negotiation with kisses, cheerleaders and enablers. This behaviour thrives because it's co-signed. Friends who say, you're just venting. Communities that call it righteous anger. White partners who mistake silence for virtue. Nobody says, this is wrong. Because to say that would make people uncomfortable, and comfort, not honesty, is what most people are chasing. Self-hate wears many outfits. Let's call it what it is. A lot of this covert racism isn't strength, it isn't pride, it's self-hate, wearing militant drag. It's people ashamed of their own communities, but too cowardly to say it, so they redirect that bitterness outward. They use racial hatred as a smokescreen to hide their own insecurities. But hate isn't healed by hiding, and it sure as hell isn't love. Not a psychological labyrinth, just cowardice. Some people like to talk like this makes them deep. It's complicated. You don't understand the layers. This is generational pain. No, this isn't a labyrinth. It's cowardice with subtitles. If you hate a group, stop dating them. If you don't actually hate them, stop performing like you do, but pick a damn side. The pedestal is a cage. White partners who think they've found some special love story need to wake up too. If your partner can openly demean your entire race in front of you and you're still calling it love, it's not love. It's infatuation sitting in a cage built on your silence. They're not treating you as a person. You're a trophy, a buffer, a stage prop for their internal war. The double standard has teeth. This double standard isn't soft, it's sharp. If a white person ever said about black or brown people what I've heard some non-white partners say about white people, it would be called what it is, extreme racism. Their jobs would be on the line, their friends would distance themselves, their partner would likely leave. But when the hatred runs the other way, it's excused, sanitized, brushed under the rug. Racism doesn't stop being racism because the direction changed. The cheat code, again, it needs repeating. A lot of these relationships are placeholders. People who preach anti-white rhetoric often end up seeking real intimacy with people from their own race anyway, because beneath all the performance, their cultural center of gravity never left. It's why so many pedestal relationships rot quietly from the inside. This is about covert racism, not white guilt. Let me be crystal clear. I don't care about white guilt. This isn't a sermon about white tears. This is about people of color who are covert racists, people who use their own trauma as a moral shield, people who think hating their partner's race is revolutionary instead of repulsive. If that makes some people uncomfortable, good, it should. Racism doesn't become righteous when you wear brown skin. I don't care what side of history you claim to stand on. I don't care how marginalized your ancestors were. If you talk about white people the way racists talk about black or brown people, you're not righteous. You're just a racist in a louder outfit. Oppression doesn't make you immune to hypocrisy. Pain doesn't make hatred noble. Love is not a stage for your issues. Relationships are not therapy couches for your unresolved racial hang-ups. If your entire love story depends on despising the group your partner belongs to, then what you've built isn't love. It's a cage for two. And here's the brutal truth. You're not fooling anyone. People see the contradiction. They're just too polite to say it. I'm not. Pick a side or stop pretending you have one. If you hate white people, stop dating them. If you don't, stop pretending to. Stop giving revolutionary speeches and going home to someone whose very existence contradicts every word you said. Stop using race as a costume and intimacy as a hiding place. Stop turning relationships into shelters for your hypocrisy. This isn't complicated. It's cowardly. And cowardice dressed up as ideology is still cowardice. Covert racists aren't deep. They're just loud. And the louder they get, the more obvious the theatre becomes. Love cannot exist in a bed where one person is a human being and the other is a racial slur dressed as a partner. That's not love. That's a hostage situation with an aesthetic. Stop romanticizing covert racism. Stop excusing it. And for God's sake, stop pretending it's noble. Not right, not left, just real.
Therapist Starter Pack. Licensed in Vibes only.